Slip is by Advocate Abbas Hetaukar. He asks, the world is threatened with the menace of AIDS. It is not known how to deal with it. Does Quran throw any light on its causes and prevention?
The question posed was that we are threatened with AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Does Quran throw any light on that? If you happen to know, that's the first international AIDS conference, it took place in our city of Bombay. In 1994, in Hotel Oberoi Towers, first international conference on AIDS. And Dr. Michael Merson, he was the person who headed here from WHO, World Health Organization. At that time he said there were about 11 million cases of AIDS detected, out of which 1.6 is present in India. And at the end of century, there will be 40 million cases of AIDS in the world, out of which 11 million will be in India. More than 25% will be in India. And he said that within 5 years' time, the next 5 years, there is doubtful of any cure. No one will know how to cure this. Best is prevention. Prevention is better than cure. And the reason for this aid, he gave as, one is homosexuality. Other is heterosexuality, unsafe sex, that adultery. Third is using needles for drugs, blood transfusion, etc. And fourth is associated with alcoholism. If you analyze, Quran throws light on most of these topics. Quran says in Surah Araf, chapter number 7, verse number 80 and 81, that we sent Lut alayhi salam, Prophet Lut, peace be upon him, to the people. And he said to them, do you practice lewdness, which no one has done before? You prefer in lust men over women. You have indeed gone far beyond the limits. Lut alayhi salam says that these people used to practice homosexuality. And you know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends brimstones on them. Homosexuality is prohibited in the Holy Quran. But now we find in the modern world, they have legalized gay marriage. Do you know that? When I was in Canada, it came in front page. Man and man kissing each other, husband, wife. Legalized gay, homosexuality. Legalized. The gays, they take out a procession for their rights. Gay rights. A headquarters San Francisco, etc. One of the reasons homosexuality. Then comes adultery. The Quran says in Surah Isra, chapter number 17, verse number 32, it says that come not close to adultery. It's an evil, opening other roads to evil. Come not close to adultery. And do you know, in America, a man has 8 different sexual partners on an average before he settles down with one permanent life partner. On average 8. Some may have 20, some may have 30, some may have 1, some may have 2. On average 8 sexual partners before they settle down with a permanent wife. Do you know this? It has been legalized there. Quran is against adultery. Totally against adultery. And one of the causes of AIDS is prostitution. You know what we medical doctors call them? CSW. You know what is CSW? Commercial sex workers. We give refined words for this. And according to Dr. Gilada in that conference, he said 50% of the commercial sex workers of Bombay had AIDS. By the end of the century, 90% will have it. There is no place for prostitution in Islam. And most of the people going to prostitutes, the report said, were between 15 to 24 years, young people. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, it's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 7, chapter number 3, hadith number 4. He said, O young people, whoever has the means to get married, for it will help you to lower your gaze. Marrying early is preferable in Islam. It will prevent adultery. It will prevent promiscuity. It will prevent homosexuality. Therefore, our Prophet said, marriage completes half your deen. Come to the last reason he gave. Associated tuberculosis, as well as alcoholism. Major people that go to the prostitute, 95% they have alcohol. Alcoholics. Quran says, as I mentioned earlier, in Surah Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse number 90, it says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, innamal khamru wal maisiru, most certainly intoxicants and gambling, wal anzabu wal aslamu, dedication of stones, divination of arrows, rishtum min amali shaitan, these are Satan's handiwork. Fashtanibu lalakum tuflihun. Abstain from such handiwork that you may prosper. Today, the medical doctors, they say, don't call them drunkards. I'll call them the disease. Treat them like patients. You know, that's the terminology we use in the new books of medicine. Alcohol is a disease. How you treat a patient of tuberculosis, of cancer, don't blame the alcoholics. Treat them as patients. It's a disease. I tell them that if alcohol is a disease, it's the only disease sold in bottles. It's the only disease advertised in the newspapers, in the magazines, in the radios, as well as the television. Our government has a law that you cannot advertise anything like alcohol. So you know what they do? Bagpiper soda. Who drinks bagpiper soda? It is there. People know it is bagpiper whiskey. It's not bagpiper soda. I saw an ad, London Pilsner or some other alcohol company, glass, ad for glass. Any logical person will know it is an ad for that alcohol. So they're taking a government for a ride. These ads are allowed even on the television, you see it. If alcohol is a disease, it is the only disease which gets revenue for the government. It is the only disease which has got licensed outlets. It's the only disease which has got no viral or germ cause. It's the disease which causes violent deaths on the highway. It's the disease which destroys the family. The Quran says it's not a disease, it says, Rishtum min amali shaitan. These are Satan's handiwork. Fashtanibu lalakum tuflihun. Abstain from this handiwork that you may prosper.